Hello everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and today we've got another Linux OS review. Today we are looking at Peppermint OS version 6.0. Now, this came out just a few weeks ago. There's actually already a few reviews of this on YouTube. Linux Help Guy actually has a couple of videos on this, and I'll throw links down below in the video description if you want to go and check those out. He was pretty positive about this operating system, and I've been playing around with it a few days now, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Really nice if you want something that is somewhat web centric but still allows you to use those desktop based applications. This might be the right operating system for you. And whereas a lot of operating systems, if they may choose LXDE, they may choose XFCE, whatever desktop environment. In the case of this operating system, they have picked and chosen the various applications and whatnot, various tools from a whole slew of different desktop environments to create a package that it really does what they want it to do. While it is based on LXDE, they have nabbed applications from Linux Mint Cinnamon. They have nabbed some from Mate. They have nabbed some from XFCE, and really work to put together a package that works well. So let's start this out by taking a look at their homepage here, and here we're at the Peppermint homepage, and I will leave links down below so that you can take a look at this as well. You've got links for downloading 32-bit, 64-bit, whatever it is that you need. Now, something that I ran into, and just for you to be aware, and this may at least partially be due to location, and that is when doing the downloads, I ran into, if I did a direct download, it was extremely slow, and I ended up getting a whole bunch of errors. So I'm thinking that maybe I don't know where their server is, so I'm thinking maybe it's just a distance issue, that it's traveling halfway across the world or something like that. When I downloaded via torrent, it went perfect. Everything was fine. My download for the 32-bit through standard direct download was like 3 hours, versus torrents, which got it to me in about 15 minutes. So just something for you to consider. And like I said, it may just be due to my location. I'm not sure where their servers are located, but that can definitely be a factor. So just something to think about. Anyway, here on their homepage, talks a little bit about that Peppermint 6 was just released, some of the changes, got some news there as well, and then they've also got a very nice user's guide. If you're new to their operating system, it breaks it down real nicely for you about downloading and installing, introduction to the desktop, customizing, and you can see some extra stuff right there. So very nice website, and they cover the majority of the information that you're going to need to know to be able to run and set up this desktop system. So yeah, let's take a look at the desktop itself, and first thing that you notice, I like their wallpaper, I like their theming. Yeah, everything looks pretty nice to me, and this has traditionally been a highlight of Peppermint throughout all of their versions, is that they've really paid attention to detail when it comes to nice background wallpapers. They've got nice theming, always love that. If you want to change the wallpapers, you can simply right click and change desktop background, boom. And not a huge number of backgrounds available, but there's a fair amount. You can just pick one and apply it, and it'll take just a second to change. And like I said, not a huge number, but I think all of them look good. I'm sticking with the default look there. I think it's really good, and no reason to change. But if you do want to change, that option is there for you. Anyway, so that's our look. We've got a standard simple single panel across the bottom, a basic LXDE style menu, simple categorized. My one complaint about the menu used here is I would like to have a search function such as you have with the whisker menu, and then also the various KDE menus. They have a search function as well, whereas in this you need to know what category it is that when you're looking for something. On the flip side, it is a simple menu. Once you get used to it, you know where things are located, and you can scroll through it pretty fast. So anyway, so we've got that. We've got our basic taskbar right here with everything that you've got running. Over here on the right-hand side, we've got our workspace switcher. It's set up by default with 2 workspaces, power monitor, internet connections. And then you've got your system tray right here, which right here it's showing that all my system softwares are up to date, and then that little icon is from my screen recorder. We've got our volume indicator right there, and time/date, which I know in the video you see that you're only seeing a little bit of it, and that is because I'm set up with dual monitors here, and the rest of this little date time calendar, whatever you want to call it, is spreading onto my second monitor. If that monitor wasn't here, this wouldn't be happening. And then we've got our power button here at the end. And speaking of dual monitors, something that I ran into, by default you do not have a tool for setting up good dual monitor support. Now it's very easy to add an application for that, and for their typical target audience, which is probably a laptop user, you're probably not going to need to deal with dual monitors. However, even if you are a laptop user, you may set up that second monitor. When you get home to your desk and whatever, you've got a big screen monitor that you want to hook up to. So in those cases, it makes sense. So what I added was, and let me go and find it here, I added ARAND-R, which gives you just a very simple dialog box here for setting up the dual monitors and how you want them arranged and that sort of thing. If you want them mirrored, you would stack the 2 displays on top of each other. I've got them set side by side. And then you can go and save your configuration. There are other tools available for configuring your monitors, but that one is simple to use. It's lightweight, and it's available in the repository. So that was my main reason for picking it. It's something that anybody can grab a hold of. Speaking of the dual monitors, the one issue that I ran into with setting up dual monitors, once you set it up so that you've got a side-by-side deal as opposed to mirrored displays, is that the system wants to stretch your panel across both monitors. Now the way I fix that, if you don't want it stretched, you may. It's not a big deal, but if you don't want it stretched, the way that I fixed it was I went into panel settings, and I just resized my panel so that 50% width. Both of my monitors are the same width. Both are 1080, or was it 1920 by 1080? Anyway, they're both the same width. So I just set my panel size at a width of 50%. Boom, good to go. And while we're talking about the panel preferences here, you can see you can flip it to the top, go left or right, go to the bottom, whatever you want, and then however you want it aligned, left, center, right, whatever works for you. For those of us who our eyes are not as good as they used to be, we can raise the panel size, make it a little bit bigger, or as you can see right here, now I've got basically two layers right there. Let's go back down to what it used to be. Yeah, there we go. And then you can change the appearance of it, add some other applets, depending on how you like that set up, and then you get a couple of other settings here in advance. So let's go through the included applications, and what I'll do, I'll quickly go through everything that we got, and then stuff that I want to highlight, I'll just come back and talk a little bit about those. So listed under accessories, we've got our archive manager, calculator, character map, our disk management, file manager, and our screenshot recorder. We can do a search for files. We can open up our terminal, our text editor, and we've got our wallpaper manager. Under games, we've got chess, entanglement, first person Tetris, Mahjong, I guess that's how you pronounce it. I've never been able to pronounce that one. And solitaire. Under graphics, we've got our document viewer, Pixel R editor, and Pixel R Express, image viewer. I added Comoso, that is the webcam viewer that I've got going on right here. And then also our simple scanner. For internet, Chromium is our web browser. We've got a BitTorrent client. We're all pre-set up with Dropbox. ICE is a tool for setting up links to web applications, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And we've already got set up quick links to an online user guide, the Peppermint forum. I added this one for YouTube, just experimenting with how the ICE tool works, and works great. Under Office, we don't really have pre-installed Office tools. We've got a document viewer, a link to Gmail, a link to Google Calendar, a link to Google Drive, but no actual Office suite or writing software or anything like that. Sound and video. We've got our Pulse Audio volume control. VLC is the default media player, and can't ask for a better one than that. It covers all bases. It seems to play everything. Great media player. Simple screen recorder, that's what I'm recording this video with, and that is something that I added. Under our system tools, there's a couple here that I added just because of other things that I added, and one of that is the Neopunk cleaner. We've got our network manager, power management, power stats, printer configurations, setting up our screen locker. Software manager, they are using the software manager from Linux Mint. We also do have the Synaptic Package Manager, which is my preferred method of dealing with software. System monitor I added just because I wanted to see what kind of system resources we're using. Got a task manager here. Of course, our time and date settings, our update manager. From the Linux Mint area, we've got, or from the Linux Mint team, we've got their USB image writer, or actually, the USB stick formatter is from there. And then also our user and group settings. Preferences, we've got our additional drivers, Catalyst control centers, because I am running proprietary AMD graphics drivers. Of course, ARANR, I already talked about that. Got our Bluetooth management, customize the look and feel, default applications, disk management, again, language support, monitor settings, network connections, Peppermint Control Center, software and updates. And I think that about covers everything. So let's start taking a look at some of these applications in more detail. Nemo is our default file manager, and while it is not the lightest file manager out there, it does offer a lot of functionality. I think in previous versions they might have been using PCMan FM, which is a very lightweight file manager. At the same time, Nemo adds some functionality, while at the same time it allows you to use those Nemo add-ons, extensions, whatever you want to call them, so you can add more functionality. So on one hand, I would have liked to seen something a little lighter, but at the same time, I can't fault them for using Nemo because there is so much functionality that you can add in here. Of course, everybody that knows me, one of my favorite things in a file manager is a multiple pane mode. We've got dual panes here. It makes it so easy for moving files back and forth between different folders and whatnot. On right clicking, you see we've got a fairly extensive right click menu here, and if you as I came down here to copy to, you can see you've got that copy right to the other pane. So like, let's say for example, let's come here to my video file, and these are the video files that I've been working on as I've been recording this video. Let's say that I wanted to move one of them over to my documents folder. You just essentially need to open up the documents folder, which I've got nothing there, and come back over to this side and do a right click, and you can do a copy to, you can do a move to, right to the other pane. No pulling and dragging or anything like that. Very easy to work with. And then and this is a typical feature that you see with most file managers, in that when you do a right click, you can do an open with, pick an application, or it'll up at the top show you your default. So nothing special there, but like I said, a fairly extensive right click menu, so it's got all that going on for it. And just by playing around with it so far, I can see there's a lot of Nemo extensions that could be added to this but haven't been, so that's definitely worth looking at. Let's see if that you do have an open as terminal, open as root. Those are two features I really like to see in a file manager. But anyway, like I said, really like Nemo. Great choice for them. Maybe not the lightest, but definitely a lot of functionality there. And then let's go to, and let me find it here. It was under Internet, is this ICE. And this is going to work with Chrome/Chromium. And what it is it's a simple graphical way to go and add web links to your desktop. So let's go and open up. Actually, I've got Chromium open over here, so let's drag it on over. I don't know. We'll go to my web page here. So we're at my home page, and let's say that I wanted to create a quick link to that. So I could just go and copy, come over here to, and we'll just name the application as ajzig.com, enter the web address, which I just did a copy and paste. Where in the menu do you want it to show up? Just pick a category. and then you can select an icon, and you could go and add some extra icons yourself, um, just so that you when you go to the file menu, you will be able to identify something just by the just by the icon without having to without having to read it. But anyway, I'll just pick the default Chromium icon, and if it's got a site favicon, you can go and use that. And if you come over here to the menu down here on YouTube, that's what I did right there, and that's probably what they did for setting up the Peppermint, the two Peppermint links right there. But anyway, so that's how you use this. Click apply, and then boom, you're done. So now if we go to the menu, go to internet, and you'll see a link to my website right there. Simple, easy to use, and so I can see how by using that ICE, if there is a lot of websites that you typically visit, having quick links set up, and then go on and do a little menu editing so that maybe you create yourself a category that is just call it quick links or whatever you want to call it, or maybe you go in a little more detail on categorizing it. Anyway, I could see where that would be useful to you, as well as doing quick links to web applications if you use a lot of the web applications. So for example, the Google Docs, of course they already got one to Gmail, but if you are a Yahoo Mail user or whatever you use for email, setting up quick links for those kinds of things, I can really see the usefulness of setting those kinds of things up. All right, let's talk a little bit about software management. We are using Linux Mint software management tools, not only their software manager, but also their software updater. Both are excellent tools. Their software manager is miles and miles better than the Ubuntu. Yeah, wow, I can't talk. The Ubuntu Software Center, and everybody that has watched a fair number of my videos know that I despise the Ubuntu. Yeah, I still can't say that. The Ubuntu Software Center. Everything that is wrong with the Ubuntu Software Center works here. You don't have the glitching, the freezing up. Things are categorized, which they are in Ubuntu Software Center, but we've got fairly good categories here. Here, let's just pick a category and open it up. Now, I will say that I have noticed that their Software Center lags just a little bit when you're going and looking things up. Now, I will say that when I set this up on my desktop, the drive that I use for doing my videos, it's not the fastest hard drive, so that may be a little bit of a contributing factor. If I was doing my main drive for my regular desktop is an SSD. This one is not. It's a slower 5400 RPM hard drive, so that may be a little bit of the contributing factor. But anyway, it does lag just a little bit, as you saw there, but nothing really big. Anyway, so you've got list all the different software here, and along with reviews, you can double click and it'll pull open that particular piece of software, and you can look through the reviews and all that kind of thing. To install it, simply click install, boom, you're good to go. It does it. And whereas the Ubuntu Software Center tends to freeze and glitch if you pick a whole bunch of things to download and install, you don't have that here. It does tend to slow down a bit, If you know, say you've picked out about a dozen different pieces of software to install, it does slow down a bit, but it doesn't freeze and crash. So you know, like I said, most of the stuff that's wrong with Ubuntu Software Center, it works here. So you know, this is probably a pretty good choice. They could have gone lighter. Um, there is AppGrid, which is a very nice software center. There also is the Lubuntu Software Center, which graphically not quite as appealing, but it is lighter weight. Um, but like once again, I really can't fault them for going with this software center just because it is very effective. And let me go and find it. Should be under System Tools. Yeah, you also have from the Linux Mint team their update manager, which I don't have anything to update because I just did an update before I started the review. But all of your updates would show in here. You can select which ones you want to update or select them all, install the updates, boom, you're done, and it works flawlessly. Next thing I like to talk about is the terminal. And now up in the title bar it says Peppermint Terminal, but the application is, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, it's called Sakura. It is a GTK terminal. However, it does not have a lot of dependencies, so it's fairly lightweight, but at the same time adds a lot of functionality. And you're thinking, okay, what can you add with the terminal? Well, let's do a right click here and we can open a new tab. We can give our tabs a name. So if you're running multiple tabs, you know, doing multiple things in the terminal at the same time, it can be useful to you for each tab to have a new name. Close a tab, go full screen, copy, paste, and then come down here to options. Set our window title, set the color, select the font, select the background, and then, you know, even more tabs at the bottom, tabs at the top, show the scroll bar, reset, you know, just tons and tons of options there. Lot of functionality in a very lightweight application. The other thing I'd like to talk a little bit about is we've got a Peppermint Control Center, and allows us to do some settings as far as we can go and change our theming through here. What do we want our fonts set at? How do we want our title centered, to the left, to the right, however you want it set up. Got some settings. Well, let me go and enlarge this window here so we can look at them all better. You can see how you want different Windows behavior. Some keyboard settings and mouse, that sort of thing. Keyboard shortcuts, desktop effects, and then most of the time under advanced, use it as a catch-all for everything that's left. Window placement, how you want the workspaces, that sort of thing. So all in all, very nice. So with all of these features, you would think that we're going to pay a penalty as far as RAM CPU usage, that kind of thing. But we are still fairly lightweight. If you look at my memory usage right here in the memory monitor, I am currently running at about 1.5 gigs of RAM. Now, considering that I am running the screen recorder, which is, you know, fairly intensive, both RAM and CPU, and actually a bulk of the CPU usage that you see right here is because of the screen recording. But anyway, you know, I'm running the screen recorder over here on Chromium that I have open. I've got 2, 4, 5. I got 7 tabs open. You know, I've got the webcam viewer running right here, and yet we are rocking 1.5 gigs of RAM used. So I mean, still fairly lightweight. The CPU usage that you see right here, like I said, the bulk of that is due from the screen recorder, because as a baseline, this thing was I think I had one of my 4 cores that was showing like 2% usage, and everything else was flatlined. So I mean, this sucker is very lightweight on the resources. So I could see where, you put this on a laptop that's or an older computer, got 2 to 4 gigs of RAM, you should have no trouble running the bulk of applications. You know, uh, Graphics stuff, especially recording, tends to be fairly memory and CPU intensive. So I mean, that's why you're seeing a lot of this RAM and CPU use. I think baseline, before I had anything running, I was looking at in the range of 150 to 200 megs of RAM just as a baseline. So very lightweight. So as far as issues and problems that I've run into, there really haven't been any. I already talked about the issue with the panel, which it's only going to pop up with multiple monitor situations, and I kind of gave my fix for it. Um, there's a few applications and things that I had to add myself, just because of doing the screen recording and that sort of thing. No big deal there. There isn't a lot of pre-installed application type software. So if you're looking for the Office suite, or you're looking for GIMP or something like that, it's not there. Um, Obviously, going to the software center, you can go and add any of that kind of stuff that you want to add. And I think that's one of the nice things about this distribution, is that it's set up so that you can be more web centric or more desktop application centric, whichever direction you want to go. And looking at it from that standpoint, I think that it's for a lightweight distribution like this is a good strategy to go with. Um, Myself, because of the kind of writing that I do, I am not. Google Docs does not have the feature set that I need in writing software, so I'm going to add, Office Suite slash writing software. A lot of people, Google Docs is all that you're going to need. So it depends on what your needs are and that sort of thing. Um, so all that being said, who is this a good distribution for? I think definitely this is an awesome distribution for laptops. This is especially if you're the kind of person that most of your work is online. You're cruising the web, you're using some online applications. This is going to be a good distribution for you. Um, if you're trying to be light on the memory and CPU uses, this is a good distribution for you. Um, it does not have a lot of the bells and whistles that KDE and the Gnome desktops have. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff, you need to look elsewhere. But um, all in all, I really like this distribution. So definitely check it out. Well, that about finishes this video up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and as always, leave comments, questions, all that kind of stuff down below. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Love to have you on the wow, can't talk. Uh, Love to have you on the subscriber list. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.